Okay, thank you so much for joining. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, yeah. So let me start. Like my um career that was started over 18 years ago. So and distinctly, I have worked in traditional service delivery and operations in Tech Mahindra, where the focus was on stability, availability, SLA adherence, all these. And I was working as a service delivery manager for a long period of time, more than 7, 8 years. And I was responsible for incident, problem, change management, all ITSM tool related modules. But that time ServiceNow was not used, but I know these are the things which were supposed to be done as part of ITSM tool.
Okay,
Okay. And that was focusing mainly on the customer satisfaction and driving continuous service improvement. Okay. So I understood and learned governance, service metrics, and then operational excellence, risk management, how to handle that. So that was my first focus as a service delivery manager. Then I shifted to project management role and had got opportunity to work on traditional project management. That means in waterfall. And after that, when industry was actually shifting to digital delivery, I was also given a chance of working as a agile delivery manager. So so again in agile delivery, I understood all these financial things. I mean, how to handle budget, forecast, all these. And apart from that, I had a couple of certifications in Scrum role. So I mean, Scrum Master, CSM, PSM2, then Scaled Agile Framework. So I have got that chance to work as a Scrum Master. Actually, these two are equivalent in British Telecom customer. They actually, uh, I mean, sometimes they say it was Scrum Master, and sometimes they are saying it is Agile Delivery Manager. So both are actually equivalent in terms of roles and responsibilities. So when the BT was actually started working on ServiceNow, I was also got that opportunity to work on ServiceNow. And since I had that idea how to work in incident, problem, all these modules, so I had an
okay,
interest to work on this ServiceNow area. And on my own, I actually completed and cleared that CSA certifications. Okay, and gradually shifted to admin role and couple of delivery things where I was involved. But my current project is completely focusing on delivery, implementation, and development, technical things basically. Apart from the Scrum role, that is also helping me because the role is as a Scrum Master, ServiceNow Scrum Master, but I am supposed to work starting from the requirement gathering, interacting closely with customer till the delivery happens. Like that.
okay,
It's a hospital management project. Yeah.
okay,
So
great.
that is in a nutshell. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, in your view, what are the most important responsibilities of ServiceNow project manager?
Okay. So, as a project manager, it should first focus on the process area where customer will probably now already have moved from waterfall to agile. So, how the agile processes are handled, what is the life cycle of Scrum delivery if they are following Scrum framework, and how to gather requirements. I mean, the whole cycle, backlog refinement, then Scrum ceremonies, execution, and working on the budgets, taking feedback in different forums. So these are the processes that has to be followed as a project manager. Along with that, since it is service now, then it will be completely technically focused on ServiceNow area, where ITSM or any other HRSD modules, I mean, if these are the things, then PM also should be aware of in and out of the modules, how incident module works, how problem works, how change management works, how service catalogs work. And on top of that, when he is focusing on improvement, continuous improvement, he or she should have the knowledge of flow designer as well, which is actually the important key part of service now, I would say, at the
Can
moment,
you give
because
me one example of this, which I think you already worked on various projects, right? So in this context, can you give me one example?
example of what? Any integration that we have, any automations that we have?
Yeah, a new project arrives and being a project manager, how
Hmm.
you handle that? Like, you know, kind of what is the roadmap you made to
Okay,
proceed with
so
the
I will
project?
give you one example. I will give you one example showcasing one use case. Okay, so we are capturing the requirement from the customer, and based on their priority, we are consuming it and in the Scrum sprint. Okay, so sprint is actually 2 week sprint we follow, and the requirement that is gathered, we are just breaking down into smaller size so that this can be fitted in a one sprint, single sprint. That is actually the objective of Scrum work. Okay,
Okay,
so we have a critical requirement that has come to us, because in hospital, we have to healthcare ensuring zero disruptions in patient services. Okay,
right. Yeah.
so so fallback and failover mechanism both are equally important here. So the requirement is their patient capturing system, and I mean registering system, that goes down. If that goes down, then service now has to take care of that. How this will happen? So yeah, the high level requirement is the moment the server goes down, service now has to capture that information or notification, whatever, and service now has to work on that, so that uh, hospital management will get notifications that will be resolved also within SLA, and the patient registration work will not be hampered. So that's the high level thing. So what we did, monitoring tool, which is there in the hospital network. So which is in the private network or on premises, you can say. Okay. And service now, as you know, it is in cloud. We directly cannot communicate to that monitoring tool. So
Mhm.
we used one mid server in between. Okay. So the logic is service now will communicate through the mid server. Second point is we have to take the plugins, two plugins, item plugins. One is the code one, item code, and another one was item event management, where we got that two tables, em underscore event, and the other one was em underscore alert. So the moment monitor goes down, one event is generated, which is actually triggered from there, and it comes to ServiceNow as inbound action. Okay,
Okay.
so the moment event comes to ServiceNow through that inbound action, we are using REST API. I'm mentioning here. Okay, so once it comes, the em underscore event table gets inserted. It's a post action from that monitoring tool. Okay, so em underscore event is populated with a new event, and the moment it is inserted, the background event rules automatically which runs it, senses that yes, one insert has happened, new request has come into event table, so it quickly pulls that event from there and convert it to an alert. So that's internal part where we are not doing any manual things. Okay, so that
Okay.
alert gets generated, and from that alert, again that internal processing engine takes that alert, and we configured it as from that alert it will be inserted into the incident table. The moment it is inserted into the incident table with a high priority critical case, with the subject line that we have defined, it's a monitoring tool failure like that. it is automatically routed to the IT support team. Okay, it is assigned to that IT support team, and the notification goes to the hospital management tool that it is down, kind of. And the moment it is done, the other flow design, through using that integration hub, we are generating one request which will have two parameters. One is to track that mid server ID, and the action is restart. So it goes to monitoring tool through the mid server, and the server gets rebooted, and the disk is cleaned up, and the required systems are restarted, like that. And IT team's responsibility is to ensure that yes, it is up, and it is done within the SLA, because the moment you are creating one P1 SLA, the corresponding SLA is already attached with that P1. So that they have to ensure, and the
Okay.
notification goes to the team.
Okay, great. Let me talk about scoping. So let's say you get a new ServiceNow project. Okay, so
Hmm.
what are the few steps you take to define the scope of the project?
Okay, so first of all, scoping means first we need to define the custom application. Okay, with the scope. Okay, so whatever you want to,
Okay,
I mean, with the customer custom application, you have your application scope defined, right? And after that, as a PM, or maybe I have that admin role also with me, so we have to identify and define the roles, different roles, users. First, your roles to be created. You have that groups to be created, and who are the user, and who will be getting access to which module, like that. So those roles are defined, groups are created, users are assigned. So this is the second step, I would say. And whatever you are doing, the moment your application scope is created with your custom application, you have to create your update set ready, so that all changes what you are doing, configuration changes, that will be captured over there, so that whenever you are going to upgrade your transfer your data to higher instance, you will get those details to be configured in the higher instance as well. So that's the application scope, I would say.
okay. So name two or three common risks in any ServiceNow project, and based on your hospitalization project and all,
uh,
use that as an example.
no, your voice is breaking, Minder, I couldn't get you.
Is it good now?
Yeah, it is good now. Tell me.
Okay, so I'm asking like, give me two, three common risks in a ServiceNow project based on
Okay,
the example which you already doing in your hospitalization project. Means give me some live example of those risks as well.
okay. That was again related to integration, Minder. First one, we had that system, that EAR system, electronic. What was the full form? A report system, some report system which is actually takes care of the patient data, and then it is captured in ServiceNow, and the other things are happening. So integration failure was one of the examples, like in the peak hours.
Okay.
Yeah, so what happened is we had to work on that P1 incident initially manually. Why that integration fails? Because that was one thing that was a surprise initially, and then we captured that as a risk for their server issue and all. But ultimately, the root cause we identified that it's a capacity issue from the database side itself. Okay, so we had to upgrade that. I mean, initial temporarily we have added some space, but ultimately, for with a normal change, we have increased that this thing space with the help of this thing infrastructure team, and we resolved that issue. That was one example that is very recent. That is why I remember. And other risks are like access related risks, because it's a greenfield project. Okay, so we started from the scratch. So while working, we faced issue due to misconfiguration of the ACLs. Okay, some people, some group of users who are actually not supposed to get access to particular fields, so
Okay.
they have got that access, and we had to modify that. So that was one risk. So we
Okay.
faced that.
Just give me a second. I will be right back.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Oh yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sorry, there was some network issue at my side. It's fine now.
Okay, okay, fine. So I think you got that
Yes,
risk
yes,
that had happened with the
I got the
ACL.
list, yeah,
Yeah.
access and all.
Yeah.
So that's
Huh.
good. Okay, you mentioned in your resume that flow designer reduced about 40% of manual work. So can you tell me more about that flow, what you have done in that flow, how
Okay.
it is
So
helpful in reducing that 40%?
exactly, yeah. So for again, I'm giving you one example, right? Okay.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah, so since it's a hospital management project, so the departments you have to prioritize. Like, emergency departments, they have everything on urgent basis like that. Okay, and if some critical patient that has come to your help desk, sorry, reception, and you need to take them forward to emergency department, so you need certain bed or role, what is that name, not that wheelchair, the other one, where the patient, you have to take him or her to the emergency department. So these are the things. For every step they had to require send verbal request that, yeah, see, I need that wheelchair, for example, immediately, and you please arrange that. He has to put that request to the requirement department, and the thing that has come with an approval with the department, because they will also have to capture all this data in a manual register. Okay, I'm giving this wheelchair to this reception or that department, like that. So everything was basically manual approval process, everything for every department. So the approval
okay,
process has got automated using the service catalog and flow designer. Why I'm saying service catalog, they have n number of catalogs we are implementing,
services.
because yeah, service catalog. Why? Because the requirement from different department are different, because the machines, the equipments that are required for the radiology department, it is not same as that of a maybe EMI, sorry, MRI department, or maybe blood testing department, or X-ray department. So requirements are different from different departments. Okay, so you have that service catalogs in place, and the approval process also automated for every request, and the approval person also different, right? So
Okay,
the person who is supposed to approve your radiology department equipment, he is not the same person who will approve your X-ray equipments. So this is the way we captured that approval person. That is the dynamic one, based on the requirement, based, whatever equipments they are choosing, we need to identify as a category of that, and the required approval has sent to that particular manager or team. They are getting notification as well. So they are getting a they are just giving a quick response, yes, it's approved from the catalog itself, and it is being done like that. So I have given that tentative figure. It is probably not 40%, it is more than that. But stakeholders are actually hospital management team, they are happy with that automation processes. What was actually taking hell lot of time to get some
Right.
equipments or yeah, so things to be in place. So that is now automated using ServiceNow. So they now know why we are using ServiceNow and what is the importance of using ServiceNow here.
Great,
And
great.
also one more thing, SLAs are in place. So SLA for them, we actually sit with them like, yeah, you tell me how long, how much time you need or how much time you expect that, yes, I'm placing one request for a MRI machine, and that has to be in place within 8 hours or 12 hours. So based on that, we created SLAs also, which are attached. So they are getting those things in place. And also those notifications we created, like if SLA is breached, not breached, SLA is already consumed 75%, that notification goes to the vendor like, yes, I will have to do it within this period of time. So these are things that we are doing, and it's not a single day work, it is just an ongoing process. I'm telling you in brief.
Right, right. I got it.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so these are the use cases.
Okay, so in healthcare, where CMDB stands. So you are using the CMDB as well, right? Somewhere in your current ServiceNow implementation. So what is
Yeah.
the use? Can you give me some substantial use cases where you have used CMDB and it is much more valuable there in
I,
healthcare specifically?
to be very frank, I'll give you very high level on
Okay,
CMDB, because that part I am not handling. But I know how CMDB helps in reducing your incident resolution time, okay, and how it helps in working on the problems, identifying the root cause. So all these things are using the CMDB. It is easier because you know what configuration item is used in incident table. You have those impacted CIs in place, right? You have that CMDB rel CI, so relationship with the other impacted services. So the moment your one particular say for example email server is down, so what are the other applications that are impacted? So those informations you are getting from the CMDB table. So anyway, that process is very much automated, and it is helping you to identify and resolve your issue very quickly. So that's the way CMDB actually helps. And they are also aware of that, yes, we have to get that CMDB updated, I mean using the discovery and all, populating CMDB every day, I mean with scheduled jobs
Mhm.
like that, so that it will help you in reducing your resolution time or complying within the SLA.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, so let's talk about your data migration. You mentioned that in your ABC project, implemented data migration using import set and transform maps. So that must be a huge migration, right? So what all are the
Hmm.
challenges you faced in that data migration?
Okay, so data migration at the moment, I don't know whether it is relevant or I will have to work on it, because the logic is they have their lab information system. Okay, for example, so that's a system which is again is there in the hospital network. Okay, so the objective is to get those lab information which consist of your patient test results and the reports like blood test or MRI report or radiology related reports, all this, along with the tagging of patient and the date of testing. Okay, so that's the information that is captured in the lab information system. So logic is I mean objective is not the logic. That file, I mean that data has to be captured in the ServiceNow, um, in ServiceNow, and working on the patient data and analyze the data to identify which particular test report of patient is critical and act accordingly. So this way the data also will be generated in ServiceNow, and corresponding tasks also will be taken care of automatically. So the process that we did, like we created, we have actually scheduled by the DB administrator. His job is was to schedule one particular job which will actually create a this thing CSV file from the database lab information system, and putting it every day in a particular time in one private server which is accessible to mid server, because mid server is there in their network. So that connectivity we have checked, and that particular server with the path, like that CSV file that was kept. What ServiceNow does every day, it is done through the mm, schedule import thing, like schedule import set job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it pulls the data, because we feed that mid server ID and credentials, so that ServiceNow can connect to that mid server. It is nothing sort of post or this thing get through the REST API. It just connect to that mid server, and from there it has that URL where that particular CSV file is kept. It just pulls in that CSV file from there, and keeps in the ServiceNow as a data source. Okay, so
Okay.
the data source is that, and then the moment this data source is generated, then import set data source is configured in such a way. You have that option, right, where you can give that mid server how you are configuring your data source, what is there, what is your source actually. So over there you have to give your mid server ID, right, and the credentials. So the exact actual path of that particular CSV file, you are putting data source path, and you are configuring that. So from data source, it is actually generating the import set, and in the import set staging table, and from there you are using the transform map and the transform script, the through which some validations are done. Data validations are done through script, and it is inserted into the respective tables. Okay, incident and lab result table, whatever is there, but it's automated every day. This actually comes into service now, and this is the transformation I am saying, from the source to service now. And the last part we have actually added, that is, once patient status is critical, that is they are capturing in the CSV file. Based on that, we generate a trigger that is assigned to the mm, doctor who has prescribed this particular patient, that yes, MRI report has to be done, or some cardiology related things has to be done. So if it is critical, that notification goes to the doctor with a critical P1, or not P1, P2 kind of. So the doctor will check that data and take necessary action, give treatment details, and close that particular action. So that's one thing that we have implemented, and the notification also goes to the respective department. Okay,
Okay.
so
So
this is done.
you have made the doctors like, there must be an very good level of training you have given to the doctors as well, right? Because we are automating everything and there has to be on the system.
Yeah, or
So
not only
what was
doctors,
the
even
challenges? Because I know hospital systems, I know doctors here in
hmm,
India, means here in NCR, they're
hmm,
not very, though they are very highly skilled, but they are not
hmm.
tech savvy people, right?
Tech
They
savvy, and
just,
they are reluctant and very much
yes,
resistant to use this
def-
system.
definitely. So what kind of, training you have given, how you sorted these things out so that doctors will cooperate in this
Huh.
ITSM and ultimately the service delivery will be better. So what
Hmm.
kind of trainings you have provided there? Not you means
Initially,
as an organization.
No, no. Initially we did not approach any doctor, not a single doctor. Okay.
Okay.
Initially, we tried to address the pain of the hospital management team. The moment they have got benefit, right, removing the manual activities and implementing the automations, they are
Mm-hmm.
getting their times are saved. They are not being involved in every action. This is separated based on the accountability. So
Okay.
they actually helped us to approach the doctors. Yes, see, doctor, this is what they have implemented, and this is what we have achieved. So we want you, because doctors are also kind of employee of the hospital management, right?
Right.
They are
Yes,
getting paid
obviously.
from the yeah. So they also have to listen to the management team. So when we approach the doctor, we have taken that management, I mean, hospital management team also with us, so that they can convince the doctors as well. And
Okay.
there are not in number of things that we have done for the doctors. Only these couple of things now it is implemented for the doctors, like just acting on the patient which is critical, and that might help the hospital also, because what hospital is saying, see, doctor, you have to work on this. Okay, you have to give your treatment because you have only suggested your test. Okay, now it comes as a critical one. Now when the patient will come, they will come to know the criticality of their disease, right? Rather than
Right.
we are asking you to notify them, you do not have to notify. You have to just write down the treatment details on high level and close it. Our hospital team has that responsibility to take care of that particular treatment and notify the patient, yes, this has come, this is critical, now it's your turn, how we will take care of. You can come and admit your patient here, or you can go somewhere else. So this way patients also will think that, yes, hospital is taking care of the results as well. It is not only my responsibility.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so the feedback will be good, and they will trust the hospital. So this is a, I mean, kind of a circle it is moving, na? So that
Right.
they are actually trusting.
Great. Great. Okay. So one last question. In your resume, you mentioned SLA and OLA management. So based on your real-time experience, how you defined SLA and OLA two different things, and how these two things working together to give a good delivery, a better delivery.
Okay. Okay, so which example I will give you? Oh,
Yeah,
fine.
please take your time.
SLA, yeah, okay. So SLA actually we have customized for these hospital. Okay. So because see, as I said earlier, SLA for I mean, emergency patient who is in ICU, for them, if some I mean, testing machine or ventilator, or maybe some equipment which is very critical, if it is requested from the ICU team, so the SLA that should be attached with that particular request should always be high, and will be provided within certain period of time that hospital management team has defined. Yeah, if this is the requirement, that then I want you to configure SLA in such a way that it has to be delivered within the within 2 hours or 3 hours, like that. And notification also, I mean, in certain interval you will have to send. So that for what do I say, for ICU patients SLAs are different. For other test, USG or X-ray, if those things are there, or maybe normal patients which are there in general bed, so there for them the SLA is something different. So according to hospital instructions, we have created the SLA. Now, OLA, why I'm saying OLA is, as you know, it's internal to hospital management team.
Right.
Okay, so they have dependency to other departments. Yeah, so I need that, and it has to come from the equipment department. Okay, so they have to provide me that. So so when you are defining your SLA, for example, for 3 hours, SLA is defined, then OLA obviously has to be 1.5 hours or 2 hours. So that
Right.
link, because you can deliver until and unless you get this particular thing from the department, respective department, you cannot comply your SLA, right? So OLA has been created based on the definition of what we have done in the SLA. So this way, actually, we have created multiple SLAs and OLAs based on their requirements.
Okay, okay, great. So I'm done with the discussion here. You
Hmm.
have any questions?